Hi guys, this video is going to be about child abuse and neglect, which has not actually I've not actually made any type of videos about this before. And because this is a very serious topic and everything, and I feel like people who watch my channel should know. I spent not too long, but I probably spent 30 minutes to an hour last night at 1 in the morning making this essay thing. And I showed a few of my teachers today the essay I made, and they thought it was really good and very informing. But I also have the two babies. I have Avery here and Sophie. Sophie is not a reborn. I'll make a video on her later. I have Tracy here and Cherokee here, and they promise not to make any noise, because this is my 5th time making this video, and no, I don't like it. And there's some things in here that some viewers that might find funny, but it's not funny. It's
really
people
serious.
actually do this, and it's a very serious topic and everything. And they're still talking and laughing. My sister Sammy is walking towards us.
Go away. You don't like.
But this is a video for Hello Dolly Nursery, and they buy reborn dolls and give them away to raise awareness of child abuse and neglect. And they buy them with their own money, and then they give them away. You can just look up Hello Dolly Nursery and you'll find their channel. But to actually the topic. There are many forms of child abuse and neglect, and I'm actually going to let Tracy hold this so I know I'm being watched. Federal law states that it is any recent act or failure to act upon the part of a parent or caretaker which results in death, serious physical or emotional harm, sexual abuse, or exploitation. And if you guys don't know what that means, stay tuned for it, because in a little bit I'll explain what exploitation means. Or it is an act or failure to act of which presents an imminent risk of serious harm. Most people recognize 4 major types of maltreatment: physical abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. Sometimes they are often combined. Physical abuse is non-accidental physical injury, like shaking a baby, or kicking, or biting, or hitting, or punching, slapping, and no, spanking your child is not abuse.
As long as you don't go to the full extent of leaving bruises on the kid.
As long as you don't leave bruises or do anything like that, spanking's fine. Neglect is the failure of a parent, guardian, or other caretaker to provide a child's basic needs. Neglect may be physical, medical, emotional, and educational. Sexual abuse includes activities by a parent or caretaker such as fondling the child's genitals, penetration, incest, rape, sodomy, indecent exposure, and exploitation through prostitution or the product of pornographic materials. Emotional abuse is a pattern of behavior that impairs a child's emotional development or sense of self-worth. This may include constant criticism, threats, or rejection, as well as withholding love, support, and guidance. Abandonment is now defined in many states as a form of neglect. A child is considered to be abandoned when the parent's identity or whereabouts are unknown. The child has been left alone in circumstances where the child suffers serious harm.
Give examples.
The parents have failed to maintain contact with the children or provide reasonable support for a specific period of time.
Examples.
Kind of like an example for being a child left at home and for serious harm. There is this story I think it was a couple years back, where this mother left her baby, I think in a trash can.
Yeah.
And it was an infant, like Avery's size. And she's a newborn size. Can you imagine an infant that small in a trash can trying to defend for itself? It doesn't happen. They lose their life.
Their neighbor found it in the trash can, by the way.
Their neighbor found them.
Because they heard it crying and they wanted to know what it was. So they went over to the neighbor's trash can and they looked inside of it and they saw that it was a baby. They called 911 and they couldn't find the parents, so they had to take a DNA test and find the parent, and then the woman got arrested. So now she's serving time.
Substance abuse is an element of the definition of child abuse or neglect. Parental exposure of a child to harm due to mother's use of illegal drug or other substances. And it's not always the mother that uses it to abuse, but you can use substance abuse when you're pregnant and you take too much drugs. Like you drink alcohol when you're pregnant, it can harm the baby, and you may have birth defects or even a miscarriage. And that's basically taking a child out of life
before it's even born.
Before they even start. Manufacturing of methamphetamine, or how do I say that? I don't know. In the presence of a child, which I'm going to guess it means kind of like manufacturing of meth and presence for child. Selling,
meth, cocaine, basically. It's like drugs.
Selling, distributing, or giving illegal drugs or alcohol to a child, and use of
under the age.
Shut up, please, both of you. And use of a controlled substance by a caretaker that impairs the caretaker's ability to adequately care for a child. These facts I'm about to give you are probably going to scare you because they are really true. Every year, 3.3 million reports of child abuse are made in the U.S. involving nearly 6 million children. The U.S. has the worst record in industrialized nation, losing 5 children every day due to abuse-related deaths. Approximately 80% of the children that die from abuse are under the age of 4. Can you imagine that? 80% of 6 million children are under the age of 4 that die every day and every year. It's not good. Abused children are 25% more likely to experience teen pregnancy. Abused teens are less likely to practice safe sex, putting them in greater risk for STDs. 2 of the largest types of abuse are neglect and physical abuse. And that is my statement against child abuse and neglect. So, what do you think you could do to help child abuse and neglect?
Some comments.
Yeah, as you're saying, leave comments below of saying what you can do. Say one thing you can do to help. Just one small thing, like going to the classes of young children and teaching them to stop the silence, and if they're being abused or if they know someone that's being abused, to say it out. Speak up. You're not the abuser in the thing. You're the victim. You should be able to say what has been done. You're the victim. And if you are the victim, tell me. I know what it's feel like to be the victim of abuse. And I can probably help your problems.
I also want to add to that. It's basically saying it's kind of like what you guys learn about with bullying. You shouldn't not go to it and say something about it, because when you stay silent, when you get older, there is more chances of you becoming another abuser just like your parents were. You could be turned out just like them, even though you think, oh no, I'm not going to be like them, I want to change my life around and not get abused.
I actually read part of that where children who are abused are more likely to abuse their children when they get older and have their own kids. They're more likely to abuse their own kids. Can you see? That's wrong. Can you imagine if every person, if 1 out of 5 people is being abused, and when they grow up and have kids, their children are going to be abused. And it's just going to revolve it's just going to make this cycle of abused people go round and round and round, and it'll be a never-ending cycle.
You make the change.
You make the change. Stop the silence. Comment, subscribe, go to Hello Dolly Nursery channel, subscribe to them. Bye.